Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer Anila.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. Tonight we have The Squeeze. So, a couple of times in this show, you may have noticed, listeners, either on the main show or particularly when we have Matt and Travis from The Drunk and the Ugly and Ugly Talk, that we like to figure sometimes we'll suggest oh, I can totally see this creepypasta being fodder for a RPG game scenario, like for Call of Cthulhu or other tabletop RPGs. Well, the one we're doing now, because this episode will be posted as we are going to be attending Gen Con. So the week of Gen Con, I decided we were going to find one that was based off of a tabletop RPG actual play game. But our actual plays, they are basically podcasts that record the tabletop RPG session that they're running in groups. And this one particular group that we found, All Roads Tavern, by Lithmage, LLC.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Why is it called actual play and not just a let's play? Because let's play is kind of taken by video gamers?
Yes. There's that. Also, I first heard of it through RPPR, Roleplay Public Radio. They originally started as a game advice podcast, and then they had a secondary show they started called Actual Plays, where they actually played the game.
What, did they coin the term?
I don't think they coined the term, but it's the one that was my first introduction to that kind of thing. I think it's honestly it came from. All right, now that you've given some game advice, we're actually playing the game.
Oh, okay.
Hence why it's called the Actual Play podcast.
I guess. Or because you're actually playing it more than a video game, because with a video game you only have so many inputs.
Yeah.
But you yourself are giving all of the inputs to the game, so you have unlimited possibilities.
That's a little bit more in-depth way of probably looking at it.
That's a more smarter way to do it?
Yeah.
Cool.
More smarter, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so the All Roads Tavern podcast started. They do actual plays. They do fantasy ones. They do sci-fi ones or spacey ones. And then the one I got introduced to them by is an '80s horror kids adventure campaign called Elder Hollow, which came out a year before Stranger Things. Which I found hilarious because they basically did Stranger Things a year before Stranger Things, but it was inspired by Gravity Falls and through the over the hedge or over the wall. Sorry, and other kind of Goonies obviously was another inspiration, and and the main GM they have or game master that's running the whole thing is a huge horror buff. He runs Call of Cthulhu games and Delta Green games.
So,
So
is there a difference between GM and DM? I know it's Dungeon Master or Game Master.
It honestly just depends. DM is for fantasy stuff usually, and then GM is just for kind of is the general term.
Okay, but a DM is a GM as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're also called keepers in Call of Cthulhu technically, and they're called storytellers in World of Darkness, and they just keep going. They're just different names for the same thing.
Yeah,
the same role. The administrator, basically, of the game.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, yeah, again, we're at Gen Con right now while you're listening to this podcast. So I decided to look for a creepypasta that was spawned from an RPG game. And this is what happened, where I was listening to Elder Hollow, and one of the monsters that the guy had created and thrown at the characters was called the Squeeze, and it was this horrible creature that squeezed through pipes and tubes and really small spots and stuff like that. It was grotesque and looking. And then a little bit later, I was checking their Google Plus page and their Discord, and I found that he had actually written a creepypasta based on the Squeeze after that episode or after that series. You can check out the episodes of Elder Hollow where the Squeeze shows up. It's episode 12 and 13. And it's on lithmage.com or on iTunes at All Roads Tavern. I love the podcast. I've binged through the entire 4-year backlog they have. It is a enjoyable listen if you have an hour of time to listen to an episode. That's just my own personal promotion for them because they're awesome. But that is not the creepypasta we're doing, or that has nothing to do with the creepypasta. So we're going to touch on The Squeeze, which was done by Willzuma, Schar, from the All Roads Tavern. He's also the GM of Elder Hollows. I'll leave a link in the description where you can find it. It's on his Tumblr, but you can also get a link to it on their Google Plus page. And yeah, so I guess we'll just go right into the narration of it. So it starts off with this guy, Camden Green, being woken up by his daughter, saying that there's a man in the bathroom. And they go to check, and there's this water spilled on the floor and the smell of formaldehyde. But there doesn't seem to be anything there.
Yeah.
And then for a little bit, some time passed. During the time afterward, things start going around missing in the house as the smell of formaldehyde or this weird stench starts kind of permeating the house. Like plastic fruit, milk jug is completely drained. The dog's missing, and that becomes the big, kind of the tipping point for Camden. He starts scolding his daughter for doing all these tricks and stuff because he thinks it's the daughter acting up or something. But she keeps blaming this man, and because she keeps saying that he squeezed through the toilet, squeezed down the toilet or something like that. So eventually, there's this foul smell, and I think the taps aren't working.
Yeah.
So they call a plumber in, and when the plumber opens up the pipes, they find dog bones and fur, and they basically find their dog has been squeezed through the pipes of their plumbing, and he has no idea how it got there. It was obviously some very strong suction, but the pipes don't have that type of suction to pull a dog in.
Like I said, by the look of it, it was pulled from the inside into it, so it wasn't pushed in.
Yeah, exactly. So it would have been some kind of suction or something from the inside pulled him in somehow. He's never seen anything like it. And so he stopped scolding his daughter after that.
Yep.
And then a little bit after that, or the next day, or the next night, Camden is woken up again by his daughter, this time from her bedroom, and he says that the man was in her bedroom. And it's all right, is he going to get me? And it's no, you're going to be fine. It's is he going to get me like Rover? And it's no, don't be silly. You're fine. Where'd he go? We came in through the vents. Well, the next morning, Camden wakes up and his daughter's gone. And they call the cops. They look around for the daughter. On a hunch, he asks the police to check the vents. And that's where he finds his daughter, horribly crushed and mangled and twisted, barely recognizable as a person, as they pull her out of this tight vent space. Obviously, numero uno suspect is Camden because he starts spouting things about a man who can fit through the vents who killed her, and the cops just aren't going to let that fly. But the night before his trial or court trial, somebody goes by his cell that he's being kept in, and he's missing, and all that's left is some blood in the toilet and the faint smell of formaldehyde. And while the man or Camden were never seen again, the story kind of leaves off a cautionary ending where well, if you smell formaldehyde or things start missing around your house, you might have the squeeze roaming around, and that's kind of where it ends. Leaves off at a kind of a campfire-y tale ending. So that is The Squeeze. We have, just for some context for what we're doing for our thoughts and whatnot for the story. I've, again, listened to their actual play episodes. My two co-hosts have not, particularly because I wanted to have both context to the opinion with context to the their episode, the world they built in that campaign, and how does the story stand as a standalone. without that context. Because generally, like with creepypastas, that's probably where if you do find this without listening to the podcast, like that's where you're going to get them from. So,
So do you feel that there should be a link to the podcast on this?
I absolutely.
Yeah.
So, do we want to go into the art first before we go into Grammar Inquisition?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, there's a drawing accompanies this on the Tumblr site.
It's very sketchy.
Yeah, it's very sketchy, and not in a bad way. It's like a pencil sketch.
It's literally just a sketch.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, and it does illustrate the creature and the strange means of how it travels. It also has that slight sympathetic setup, like Frankenstein's monster staring at its monstrous appearance in that mirror. My tiny issue with that story, though, or with the artwork toward the story, is the location in which the squeeze is squeezing through. In the picture, it's a sink in the bathroom, presumably.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's never mentioned in the story that it squeezes in through the sink.
Well, think about it like this. First of all, I agree.
Oh.
But think about it like this. The daughter says that he must have left through the toilet.
Yeah, left through the toilet. Then he
could have arrived through the sink, for all we know.
And he did leave through the toilet, through the toilet at the end. And the next time we actually see a sink, I directly mentioned it was in the kitchen.
Yeah. Well,
I actually went through it and looked, and it never tells us that.
But again, just because it's one of those things like.
Yeah,
it's an assumption.
Well, and it's one of those things where it says it came from the pipes.
Yeah.
When you follow the pipes, they go to the sewer, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they all reach a certain point.
They all float down here.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're all points are connected in that regard.
Yeah.
So if he's at that point, he can use any one he wants.
Yeah, for sure. I just when I saw that, I was like, okay, it's good visual, but it doesn't mesh up. It's just like my one nitpick about the art was that it never actually shows him going through coming in and going through the bathroom sink. But and the drawing, I believe, was done by Will too. So
and I assume that the dog bones went down the sink.
Yeah, that's true. There could have been.
What?
The dog bones.
Yeah.
Like
the remains.
Yeah.
So it clogged the sink, and that's why they called the plumber.
Yeah, that was said in the story.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't understand why you're bringing it up.
Well, we're trying to figure out why there's a sink in the picture.
Because he can use a sink.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming up, Mikey. No, I get you. It is kind of a nitpick thing because it's right there. But anyway, what do you guys have to say? Anything more about the art? Because that was my notes about it. So
no, nothing about the art.
Okay.
Well, I got a couple things. One is everything is kind of nitpicky because it is awesome. If you need to see it again, one slight problem is. It seems the reflection is a little too low, slightly. Yeah. Like, the eyes of the reflection are almost mouth level with actually him.
And his reflection, the mouth is open, but his mouth is actually closed.
No, it's not. It's open. But it's just not open as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all just nitpicky shit.
Yeah, like that's wow.
Just little things. But, and I had another one written down.
Way to go, Will.
Drop the ball, totally.
Yeah.
No,
you should totally hire the artist for our title cards.
I mean, I guess you're...
I don't know.
That guy's kind of a douchebag. No.
I agree. But, yeah. Before I even read anything, I looked at the picture, and I'm like... I wrote down in my notes, creepy, well-done sketch, I hope this creature matches it. And after reading... We don't really get a description of the creature at all.
Actually, in my notes, too, I think on my final thoughts, or my actual... Hang on, no, that is literally one of my final thoughts, is like, it's a cool boogeyman and some of that, but the story itself doesn't reveal much about the creature's appearance, but at least in writing. It relies directly on that drawing being there.
Yes, but that's because this is a first-hand account, and like it's because no one in the story ever actually sees it. Well,
That is-
the daughter.
the
sees
daughter
it,
does, but, like,
she
yeah.
doesn't explain what he looks like. It's just there's a man there.
Yeah, and that would be an apt description for like an intruder or like something like this thing being there.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I guess Camden could have sat down and said like, "What does it look like?"
Yeah.
But there's only so much that a child can explain.
Like the again, like this is something like if you want to get a full description of the creature, not just the drawing and stuff like that, check out the podcast because the actual play actually gives you another like rumor or urban legend that one of the kids tells the other kids about the squeeze because it's like a local urban legend thing, and also gets a full description because the monster actually directly attacks them.
Okay, fair.
So,
But yeah, that's everything on the picture.
okay. So we'll go into everyone expects the Grammar Inquisition at this point.
Yes, at this point. Yes.
So start off with a quote. He got out of bed and checked. But when he got into the bathroom, there was nothing but a wet floor and the smell of formaldehyde. I think a period should be switched with a comma in these two sentences. Also because there's a but at the beginning of the sentence.
Is there? The problem is, that's in mine as well.
Yeah.
So
I actually have my reformed sentence for it.
Yeah, you could add a comma, but the issue is it becomes a run-on sentence. So did you solve that as well?
Well, let's find out.
We'll read it and we'll see if you're wrong.
Anymore.
Go ahead, do it.
So he got out of bed to check, but when he got into the when he got into the bathroom, there was nothing on the floor, nothing but a wet floor. Period. There was a smell. There was also a smell of. There was also the smell of formaldehyde. Period. So he got out of bed to check, comma, but when he got into the bathroom, comma, there was nothing but a wet floor. Period. There was also the smell of formaldehyde. Period.
I feel like that last sentence is way too tiny. I would say it's just like there was the wet floor and the smell of formaldehyde.
So no, the thing with that is it's a small sentence because it's supposed to accentuate like a clue as to the creature, or it's supposed to like not accentuate. It's supposed to
highlight.
Highlight. Yes, thank you. That was important. It's to highlight a certain clue about the creature.
Yes,
or about the scene, which is like keep it standalone from the rest of the scene. Like that one stands out. I actually have another comment. Like I think later one of my last grammar inquisitions or grammar Nazis or whatever we're calling them now, is actually about that kind of sequence because again it emphasizes a moment of discovery. So the next one I have is really super simple. It's just it's the line. But I saw him, Dad. He was there. The I is not capitalized. Really super nitpicky. But it was both in the Tumblr. But it was in the original post. And just like it is dialogue, but like it should be a full a capitalized I.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because when you're speaking dialogue, you don't say capital I went over there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. So yeah, that's
unless you're a snob of some kind.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But
are kids lowercase i's?
Actually, no. I was like, I see what you did there, but no. Because they're kids, they're smaller. Yeah. No.
But we should make it a thing.
Really? Should we?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Anyway, next one. When the plumber opened the pipes, he found a mass of dog hair and bones. He found the family dog. Thank you, Captain Obvious. That was my just like first thought I came to mind. Is like, thank you, Captain Obvious. We couldn't tell it, but then hang on. I feel like you could lose that second statement, like you were saying earlier for my smaller sentence. But an argument can be made, like I did earlier, regarding that sentence being there to emphasize that moment of discovery, like to just like finalize. Yes, this is what happened to Rover.
Yeah, it gives closure, and also you do need that because a mass of hair and bones. It could be like your next door neighbor.
A mass of dog hair. And
it says dog hair.
But yeah, it could be the neighbor's dog
Yeah.
for some reason.
Or maybe they use that sink to wash the dog, and the dog hides his squirrel bones there.
Yeah, maybe.
That's all it is. Yeah, Rover's fine.
Yeah, Rover's actually just chilling over at the other neighbor's place, hanging out with their dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rover will live.
No, Rover is dead.
No, he's not. He's alive.
Long live Rover.
Yep.
Yeah. And just because this goes into my actual thoughts, why is it only hair and bones? What happened to the flesh and muscle?
Eaten by the squeeze.
Yeah, but
Presumably.
with that gone, how do you know it's the dog?
The skull?
That's
It would be smashed.
Oh, it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like...
It's bones as in fragments of
Yeah,
bones.
it's bone fragments and fur. Like, so I mean, like the fur, like a lot of that fur, like if there's a lot of fur, like that could be insinuated. But like, I guess you could say like maybe like add a sentence or something like that, or maybe like maybe add something like later on they clarified that it was the dog, or they found out later that it was the dog, that the remains were of a dog. But it feel like, I mean, on like first again, like kind of you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Like on first glance, like yeah, well, like the story is just trying to hit the beat of like yeah, the dog's been squeezed into the pipes.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if their entire family's all blonde, and they have a black dog, and then their dog is missing, and then there is black dog hair and bones in their sink,
Yeah.
and they can't find their dog.
No, but that's
You know.
that's basically the same thing as what was said. Like,
That's what I'm saying. There's
yeah.
not a problem with it.
Okay.
I'm saying it's fine.
All right, fair enough.
Good.
I'm glad we agree.
Me too.
All right, moving on.
All right.
And that's my notes
Cool.
for Grammar Inquisition. Mikey, do you have anything left?
E stands for evil. You forgot that.
Sorry.
Good.
alright. So I got a couple more sentences that begin with but and one that begins with and.
You found all the butts.
Yeah, there's too many.
How many butts?
Like I said, two more. And then
Okay.
one with an and.
I see. Well, then again, even one butt is too much.
Yeah.
Or is one butt okay? Because that's normal for most people.
Well, the first but
Yes.
had another but in the sentence.
So it's a butt within a butt.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
But
But
yeah, is that second butt used correctly though?
Technically, yes.
Well, then there you go. That butt's fine.
Yeah.
It's the front butt that's the problem,
Yeah.
as always.
can you just move on?
You want to talk about butts more?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Alright, I'll just read them in order that I have them here. But she never admitted to doing anything. And the smell was like death. But if you listen late at night, you might hear strange noises from the pipes.
Do you have a problem, cultist?
I require a little bit of context to the.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Because you need context, those sentences
I know.
need to be connected.
I need context. Like those were all separate. Like they weren't all like at the same time. They were in
No.
separate parts.
Yeah.
I just mean like I kind of want. I would like you to read like what came before that first butt.
It doesn't matter. Whatever is before that does not make it okay. The word but and the word and, this is super grammar-y and boring, whatever, who cares? Either way, it's to conjoin two words.
Yeah.
Or
So-
sentences.
Yeah, two sentences, rather. So if you start with that, if you start by saying but this, you're like, you're missing what it's connecting to.
Okay. Fair enough.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's why it's a grammar Nazi.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
I just like yeah, like I'm just curious as to what I just want to know like what the sentence was prior, just so I can like make sense of that of what you just said.
It isn't the one that's in dialogue, right? But I saw him dead? Because that's dialogue.
See, that's dialogue. So that gets a pass.
That's not dialogue.
Yeah.
None of them are dialogue.
Ah,
Oh, it's the beginning of a paragraph, the last one.
I
So
found
there
Oh
is
yeah, that
no,
was yeah. Actually, I think I have that one.
There is no sentence before it that is technically connected.
Hang on. No one ever saw him or the man ever again. But if
Yeah.
you listen late, like late at night, yeah, it's weird because technically those two paragraphs, like one is finishing off like the story of the man being attacked, of the man being killed by the squeeze, like, and his family being killed by the squeeze. And then the last paragraph we get, which is that the next one that happens, is a transitionary thing, and basically goes into like them like basically giving that campfire story ending warning about the squeeze.
And the ending is fine. But read the start of that without the but.
Yeah, I know.
Fine.
I literally just looked at it like, yeah, you could definitely just have if like so.
Or you can use however.
Right now, no one ever saw him or the man ever again. If you listen late at night, you might hear strange noises from the pipes. Check
or however.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So it's saying like the previous sentence, no one saw him again.
I think however would probably be better fit for that. Basically, I guess, yeah. Whenever we mention like "but" and "and" at the beginning of a sentence, it's really like find something else than "but" or "and" because they aren't like "but" and "and" would go before or go after commas, not periods.
Yeah.
Yes. Do I need to find another example? Or
no, you've proven your point.
All right. And that's the end of my grammar lessons.
Alrighty then.
All right.
Or grammar inquisitions, if you will.
It doesn't matter. I just thought it would be, since we've done it at this point, like we've been doing it so long, it's just like a little bit of a fresher take would work better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I only have one grammar-related discrepancy.
Okay.
We should all have different names.
I like that. Grammar-related discrepancy.
Nope. It's just the way that the first paragraph is laid out. It's laid out with 3 really small sentences and then a normal length sentence. And I just kind of... I don't really like it when they're really short sentences. Mm-hmm. Like, here they are. One night, Camden Green was woken up by his daughter. Period. She told him that a man was in their bedroom. Period. He got out of bed and checked. Period. Like, there's so many little sentences. Like, the short sentences almost make it seem like I should be reading this out of a pop-up book. With each sentence being under a page, which would be creepy and awesome.
Yeah.
But, like, all that information...
The squeeze, like almost like a Dr. Seuss style story.
Yes, do it, please.
I kind of want to.
Please do it.
Will, might be sending you a message sometime soon.
Yes! But yeah, little sentences... I guess they have their place in certain situations, but I don't know if I like it right from the get-go.
Yeah.
That's just me personally. I don't know.
The first two, I do remember, like, not stumbling over it, but, like, again, I did remember, like, kind of, like, slowing down for the, like, kind of the speed bump that is that for the first paragraph one. And like I said, I actually used the last one you said, like, he got up out of bed to check, period, but when he got to the bathroom, blah, 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 blah. I even suggest, like, putting a comma rather than a period there, because it slows it down but doesn't stop it abruptly like that. Yeah. It's like an old, like, Morse code thing. It's like, he got out of bed and checked. Stop.
Well, it's not Morse code, that's a telegraph.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Not Morse code, yeah. Fuck.
Morse code is beep,
yeah,
beep, beep,
no,
beep,
it's,
beep.
Yeah, it's, like what you just said, I can't remember.
Telegraph,
thank you.
It's so long ago, I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only grammar-related discrepancy I have.
Okay. Then I guess we'll go into actual thoughts.
Okay.
So, again, this is really just kind of harping back to the art, my art nitpick discrepancy. He must have squeezed down the toilet, but the image shows a sink. And I know, absolutely. Actually, maybe I'll get rid of the other one I have in there, because I have another one where it just keeps harping on it. But
I mean, if that bugged you the whole time,
it didn't bug me. It was just like my one nitpick of the story.
Like you went in seeing this creature going down a sink, and that you never
and it
had
never
that
happened.
scene. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? For the other one I have.
Well, let me raise a question then.
What?
Would you have liked it better if the image showed him going down a toilet and the little girl running away, or something, or like going through the vent while the little girl is under the covers or something?
I don't know.
Like actually drawing a scene that's actually
really the story is. It's not told from the perspective of Camden, but we are staying with Camden the whole time.
Yes,
we're never in the spot with the daughter. It's always the camera's always focused on Camden, even if it's not through Camden's eyes.
Actually, let me raise you another question. You've seen the actual play.
Yeah, I've listened to the actual play. Yeah.
No, you've seen it with your ears. But in that, was it ever described of the squeeze going in or coming out of a sink?
The legend... Yeah. I think the legend. I have paraphrased the actual like urban legend that was told in the story.
Yes.
I think it is mentioned. I believe it's mentioned.
Because I'm asking it because what might have happened was they did the actual play. He drew the image and then wrote the pasta after.
Yeah. I think it's just like Mikey said. I think the image is, or the whole idea of it going down the sink or going down the toilet. All the pipes run down to the sewer, which is also where they encounter the creature in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Is that they're down in the sewers and then they encounter the squeeze there. So like into its lair basically. So yeah, again, like it's just basically another pipeline basically you can squeeze through. So yeah, no.
Cool.
The other one I was like, I don't have to say. It was basically just like because it mentions that it came through the kitchen sink, or it came in or out of this kitchen sink, and so it's like, well, I guess that thing that's looking at that reflective surface it was looking at in the image could be a kitchen window, maybe not a mirror, but it just seemed more too reflective based on the drawing. Again, super nitpicky about the art in conjunction to the story.
That's what we do
I'll
here.
move on. I'll move on to my next comment.
Yep.
The following day, the family noticed the strange smell all over the house and odd things missing. Plastic fruit, dog treats, and a full gallon of milk drained. No one could find the family dog anywhere. The dog missing seems a bit more of a priority than the other missing stuff. That said, it could be argued the reason the important missing thing is left last is to build up tension or a sense of escalation in the narrative. Because missing fruit, and I was like, also the dog's missing, and that would oh shit,
Yeah.
that is my mention about why the
You felt that the dog should have been the first one mentioned?
Initially, and then I was like, well, you know what, actually it does build a sense of dreadful escalation there.
Yeah.
Because just missing plastic fruit and dog treats and milk has been drained. Okay. Oh shit, the dog's missing. Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually kind of jumped back from what I was going to go into that story about that, and I was because I basically self-argued myself.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah. And then we have a line that only really makes sense if you guys listen. If you listen to the Elder Hollow campaign, in terms of the setting. So he spanked her for being such a defiant child, and she could have no dessert, but she never admitted to doing anything. Based on Elder Hollow, the campaign setting, this creature comes from the 80s. Much more direct parent discipline.
I mean, yeah.
Because now that shit wouldn't fly.
It's not kosher anymore.
But again, that was something spankings and stuff that were something from the 80s. And again, the series does take place in the 80s. So
Well, yeah. You see Dennis the Menace,
yeah,
freaking another parent could discipline your children.
yeah,
That's fine back then.
back then.
And I can quote Game Grumps on this. With Dennis, I'm gonna give you fire across the ass. When they do the Dennis the Menace video game,
Right.
it's funny.
Cool.
Yes.
The next one I have is he went down the vent, and he went down the vent. She said, pointing. Camden didn't see how anything could get down there. He did notice the screws were loose and that smell, that horrible smell. Can I sleep with you and Mommy? It's just a dream, honey. You'll be okay. Am I going to end up like Rover? No, honey. It's all just a bad dream, he reassured her. Seriously? Your dog was sucked down a pipeline, or down a pipe, and you're not taking your daughter's sightings / warnings of a man creeping in from the pipes. Seriously? Parent of the year.
He still doesn't believe.
Yeah. Also, Mommy? This is the first and only time we hear about her in any of this.
That's a good point.
She is not mentioned during the court trial thing, or or anything like that. She's just
I wasn't aware there was a mother.
only except for that one little bit of dialogue. Can I sleep between you? Can I sleep with you and Mommy? I mean,
This is the 80s. It's not necessary to write her in, I guess.
It's also a creepypasta. That kind of thing just happens.
Yeah.
Cardboard cutout parent, other parent.
Yep.
Plot twist. The mom is a rotting corpse.
Plot twist: the mom is the squeeze.
Yep.
That's his main squeeze. But you're welcome.
I'll be leaving now.
Good, we don't need you anymore. No,
Oh, fine. That's good.
no, come back.
I'm gone. Ninja Bomb.
Nice. And then my last one is actually the last two paragraphs.
I should read the entire paragraph.
The night of his sentencing, county jail guard walked past.
That's his name.
Yeah, no, that's literally how it's read. So that's literally how it's said. So yeah, apparently, the county jail guard,
No, his name is County.
county jail guard,
Yeah.
walked past his cell and found it empty. The only sign of anything was an overflowing toilet with blood mixed in with the toilet water. No one ever saw him or the man ever again. But if you listen late at night, you might hear strange noises from the pipes. Check your bathroom and to see... Okay. We've got some grammar... Sorry, Will, we have some more grammar notes here. Alright, so, first off, county jail guard, like, the county jail guard.
No.
Or...
No. It's the start of a new paragraph.
Yeah.
So the night of his sentencing, county jail guard walked past his cell. So it's the county jail guard's cell.
Okay.
And he's looking at it, and he found it empty. It's like, oh, my cell is empty. That's...
Wow.
Yeah. That's weird. That should be in there.
My
I'm
second
not.
grammar Nazism, or my second grammar inquisition for this.
And you don't have to change his name, because clearly his name, he is a count. That is also, that it just wanders these jails. So he is Count, then E is the abbreviation of his first name, and his last name is Jugard.
No.
Yeah. He is just a wandering count that goes around counting all of the
My
the
next
inmates
thing...
to make sure everyone's there.
The next thing I notice here is check your bathroom and to see if there's water on the floor. So you need to remove the "and" between bathroom and to see. So it's check your bathroom to see if there is water on the floor, because that "and" is just there for no reason.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess it could also be work as check your bathroom and see if there's any water.
You don't need both.
You don't need both, yeah. Account for everything. Are you missing any odds and ends or food from the fridge? Do you smell formaldehyde coming from the vents? It might just be your imagination, or it might just be something sinister squeezing through the pipes looking for its next victim. So before I got all those, before I stumbled across those little grammar Nazis,
The count.
the count and the double word, I do feel like this is a classic Campfire Tale ending.
Yes.
I definitely did get, when I first read it, and even to a degree still now, I did get kind of a good old-fashioned vibe from this ending, like the campfire, like the creepy campfire story, or like the classic creepypasta warning ending.
Yeah.
And that is my actual thoughts. So what did you have to say, Mikey?
There's one more grammar Nazi there.
Oh, really?
At the very end.
What, victim?
The sentence begins with "or."
Yeah, god damn you. Damn you and your nitpickingness.
How dare you be right on everything?
Damn you. Truly you are evil.
That's fine. I'm trying to be constructive here.
Yeah, no, we are. Yeah, you know, despite our being silly and over critical, this does come from we want to try and help with the story.
Yeah, we're essentially giving it a quick round of editing.
Yeah, and also making the show somewhat enjoyable through this.
Well, that's questionable, but yeah.
So I had two issues.
Okay.
First issue. The pipes and the vents.
Yes.
When reading this, I was like, okay, he goes in the pipes, and then suddenly he sort of switches to being in the vents.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that sort of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit.
He's not Mario. He doesn't have to use pipes to get around. He
But
can
that's
use
his
any
MO.
His MO is squeezing through things that normal people can't.
would never be able to, or that would kill a person otherwise.
It could be the gap between a house and a shed that's half a foot wide. But people just go...
I'm going to mention this earlier, but it's like the Squeezing Man from the Squeeze episode of X-Files, season 1, where there is a serial killer who is a mutant who can squeeze through under fucking as small spaces as under a door. and kill people, or go through the drains and kill people.
Or a keyhole situation.
No. I think a keyhole's like stretching it. But in the episode, I think he directly comes from like events and like underneath a door, underneath a door, or even out of the drain. So like it's. I gotta think. And
you say a keyhole stretching it. Drain holes are like tiny.
No, I know. Yeah, it never showed him doing that in the show. And again, I got like X-Files, like that's a pretty popular, pretty famous X-Files episode. So I do wonder if the squeeze from this one did have some inspiration.
It's possible,
or was inspired by that, at least partially. At least that kind of what it came across to me. Will, if you're out there and you're listening to this, you can confirm or deny in the comment section below.
Yeah.
So, the other issue I had, which goes back to the dog.
Okay.
So, they find only hair and dog bones in the pipes.
Yes.
And then, when they find the daughter, they find her in a crumpled mess.
Yes.
Why isn't she just hair and dog bones?
Because clothing, too.
Like, for all we know, he doesn't like the taste of human flesh, and he just likes eating animals. So he just, for some reason, felt like killing this one, but he doesn't eat them.
He does also maybe the time lapse, because she was found presumably the same day as she disappeared.
Well, so was the dog.
Did the dog?
The dog was like found missing the next morning, and then they found him that day.
Okay.
There. So he just didn't eat her.
Again, this would be an assumption. I know how much some of us hate assumptions, but based on personal experience, plumbers don't sometimes aren't able to show up the same day that you want them to. You sometimes have to schedule them to come in like a couple of days later.
Yeah, and
So
neither
say
are
what
the
it
police.
What?
Neither are the police. Oh, someone's missing.
If somebody's missing, you have 24 hours to find that person, or they are officially declared missing, or like
it's 24 hours, but at the same time, this is in the 80s.
And
they're not going to act until 24 hours is up.
But it's also a child, so they usually take precedence on children.
And also, the cops didn't find her. He did.
Well, he asked the cops to check the vents while they were.
Right.
Yeah, the cops were looking around the house, like prepping a search party after they showed up. I think, again, I could be wrong, but I feel like maybe like there was a time lapse between the dog disappearing and then like them finding the remains versus the.
It's not said, so we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's left to assume that's all like the same day because it's not said.
Yeah.
So some sort of time situation would be nice, I guess. But would it really add anything?
I mean, not really, because again, your point is like the dog was like down to fur and bones, and the child is just mangled horribly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, like this creature is at least somewhat intelligent.
Well,
to the point that it would drink milk out of a milk bag and not just eat the entire
actually,
bag.
not milk bag. Americans don't have milk bags.
Didn't it say bag?
It said milk jug.
Oh, well, either way, he drained the jug and didn't eat the plastic.
That is going to screw up that is going to warp the minds of a bunch of listeners from America right now. It's like, wait, milk bags?
Yeah. They're a thing.
Yeah.
They're neat. It's almost like reloading a gun. Because you have your plastic thing. It's like, you pull out the milk bag, and then you have to like actually knock it down on the table and make sure it sits in there right. Yeah.
Yep.
It's fun. It makes breakfast fun.
It's fun, eh?
Yeah.
How you like that boot?
Yeah.
What?
What?
I don't know.
We're failing as Canadians.
Move on.
So, based on these two things,
Yes.
I have theorized there's actually two monsters.
Ooh. Okay.
So, there's the vent monster, which kills the girl.
Well, you know, if this
And
does...
then there's the squeeze, which is trying to save the girl. So the squeeze did nothing wrong.
So wait,
It's just like, get out here quickly, I'll save you.
Does the SNTF actually exist within the Elder Hollow universe now?
Yeah. Fuck it.
There are a lot of, like, based on that campaign, there are a lot of supernatural entities roaming around Elder Hollow. So,
Perfect.
So, yeah, if, like, I honestly, like, the fact that, like, there might be two creatures attacking the same household,
No, not attacking.
Or one defending.
The vent
against-
monster is trying to save her,
Yeah.
but he just doesn't know any better.
and just crushes her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually really interesting.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Will, sequel to Elder Hollow, the attack of the vent creature, or the attack of the vent monster.
He's not attacking. He's being real nice. Just
Yeah,
doesn't know any better.
Again, Migos from Lovecraft don't realize that having our brains removed from our bodies and stuck in a jar is not a nice thing to do. But they do it because that's the only way that we can travel through space.
Yeah.
Or that they know that how to travel through space. They transfer their minds, their brains into something else. So, like, while we're screaming through our consciousnesses are screaming as our brains are just in a isolated tube. They think we're like, oh, I bet they're having a great old time, as they fly to Pluto for us with us.
Yep.
So it's like, it's basically being terrifying by being ignorant of an alien culture.
Yeah, it's the most horrible way to but with really good intentions.
Yeah, it's actually a recent, or at least recent to me, idea to treat the mythos in terms of Cthulhu and stuff like that. Is that they're not horrifying, or it's not that they don't care, or it's not that they're sinister or anything like that. They just they want to help us the way they know how to help us, and that doesn't help because they don't understand us. Basically, they are blissfully ignorant of our needs biologically and psychologically.
So they're not actually thinking, I want to hurt this person.
Yeah,
they're just I have to do this.
Oh well, we want to help you. And it's like, yeah, exactly.
Listen to him scream. You must be so happy.
Yeah, that's how we Siegfried.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's I love that idea of a monster who's terrifying.
Who's not trying to be.
But they're not trying to be. That's actually how they think they're helping.
Yeah.
I'm helping you.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah. All right. Anyway,
So that's my thoughts.
yeah, I really like that. It was a good. That was a good.
Pretty good.
So what would this? So is it like the Squeeze, the vent monster?
Well,
Where,
it looks similar because it has the same description because the man is in the vents.
Yeah.
Question: when you were talking about the vents, I believe you said that the screws were loose.
I think the screws were loose, and
Were
there was
they?
the smell. Yeah, and there was the smell of formaldehyde.
So it's not saying they weren't loose.
No.
I read it as weren't.
I can pull it up right now.
So then that means the vent monster actually takes it off. He takes the vent off.
Yeah, he actually had to actually unscrew the.
So he doesn't squeeze. He just kind of he's small enough to get in
he's
there.
small enough to get in there. So he's not like the Squeeze. He is the Squeeze. Because the Squeeze would have just gone right down the pipe, or gone right through the vent slits.
This guy has a tool belt, and he has to unscrew it.
Or he's got really good like claws or something like that, or fingers and stuff like that.
I like to imagine him with a tool belt though.
Yeah. It's just Mario. It's a horrible deformed Mario creature.
There's a full Mission Impossible harness and shit.
Yeah.
If the vent's in the ceiling, a cord comes down and shit. And he's just sprawled out as it's being lowered down.
Okay.
Here, I'll get you out of here. But the vent is super tiny.
Or to make it more horrifying, the cord itself is actually just his umbilical cord.
Oh, there you go.
Or some kind of horrible tentacle he has on his back or on his stomach. Or
Oh, Mike, I like that idea.
yeah.
Somebody out there, do that up.
Yeah, I might have to draw that. Just
Would he be on
this horribly grotesque thing, and the belt and stuff is a biotech thing, so it's just this, part of his body. He just opens a flap.
And, the umbilical cord is going through that and wound up in it.
It's like a kangaroo flap, so it's a horrible orb. Yes, we're making Mikey gross out. So
We're making him gross. He already is gross.
We're making him gross out so much.
Indeed.
All right. Anyway.
Then you activate that thing and it spins up the umbilical cord to reel you up.
Yeah.
It's pulling it into the...
No, what he does is he just he does that
Oh,
he
yeah.
just he physically has to reel himself in. It's basically a belt or a tail that can wrap around your waist.
Yeah.
We are inventing a whole new monster for this suit.
That's totally fine. I like it. I like
It's
it.
pretty awesome.
I mean, with no description and with actually a different means of travel, it probably is a different creature. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Again, you guys check out Elder Hollow. I cannot emphasize that enough. It is a fun 26, 27 episode campaign of childhood horror a la The Goonies meets Monster Squad meets It.
How long are each episode?
About an hour. They cut their podcast. They cut their podcast up into hour long segments.
Okay. So if you got a day to burn,
Yeah, if you have a day to burn, or if you have a week just to cut it up between over that, or if you have like a long car ride,
Yeah.
or a series of long car rides.
That's 27 hours of driving.
Yeah,
At that point,
like I said, if you have a series of long car rides,
yeah.
Like,
if you finish the entire series, you should probably pull over and have a nap.
like I generally listen to these on car rides, like to work or to like places, or while I'm at work, I just like have an earbud in and I just listen to the like
Just for background noise.
constantly listen. Yeah, just to like have something to do because otherwise, like my job's rather quiet otherwise. So yeah,
Well, it can't always be quiet. Like when you sacrifice to Cthulhu, they're not always obliged to.
I mean, I generally that's how I block it out. Like, because
that's fair.
The guys in the next cubibles those that are like setting up the intestine pentagram, like they're just it's really noisy, and so it's just like I just like put my both earbuds in at that point.
Yeah, understandable.
Don't need to hear the splorching.
No, it's not necessary. I mean, when you hear it so much, like,
Yeah,
it's not fun anymore at that point. Yeah.
remember the good old
Just
days
work.
when it was just you go out into a secluded part of the woods and you just sacrifice a goddamn lamb or a goat
Yeah.
to your elder gods. Like, what happened to that those times? Now it's all like cubicles and clean like office built spaces.
I mean, because like you're polluting the environment, you know, making a mess of it.
am I?
Yeah,
Are
you
we?
are. Yeah.
I don't think so, but I guess PETA had a few things to say.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the real problem.
I mean, they're the ones that pushed us to start sacrificing humans rather than goats and animals.
Yeah, look what they did.
Fucking goddamn. Gods damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Moving on from the silliness,
Yeah.
the first note we talked about with the picture. So after Camden is woken up to his daughter
Yeah.
and saying that there's a man in the bathroom, seeing the wet floor and smelling the smell. After that, the quote is, he put her back to bed and said nothing about it. So he's leaving the water
And
on the
and
floor.
the smell.
That's going to cause irreparable damage to his house
Black
now
mold.
as it seeks
like,
through.
Forget the squeeze. You're going to have to deal with black mold. That
I know. He's going to have to lift the tiles, try to dry it out. And if it's a lot of water, I'm sure it'll be dripping through whatever is under the bathroom.
To be fair, bathrooms like tiled bathroom floors generally will are sealed, so they like the water's just going to stay there. Though it's just going to stagnate. Like
Yeah,
he's basically leaving his daughter to deal with it the next morning.
Oh, yeah, totally. Or the non-existent mother.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But either way. One would think he'd at least throw a towel down on it.
Yeah, right.
Like, good job adulting, essentially.
Again, parent of the year.
Yeah, totally. That's what we get out of this. Camden is the best parent of all parents that could ever parent.
Yes.
Yes. So, the following day, the family noticed a strange smell all over the house and odd things missing. Maybe a damp kind of wood smell, perhaps wet drywall. I wonder why, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because who knows how much water came out of that? It could have been like an inch deep, the entire bathroom.
Okay, yeah, if it's an inch, I figured it was just like again, it's just like a couple of shallow puddles, like
Yeah.
from just like water spilling over. But yeah, no, if it's like that, like that's a problem.
This is just a real world horror situation where it's like, oh man, it's everywhere. I'm gonna have to like dry all this out. I'm gonna have to replace that drywall. Horrible, horrible, real world horror.
Yeah.
So then it gets to the next day, and I get to the quote of, no one could find the family dog anywhere. And all I wrote down is, don't you dare. Don't you make me dislike this story already.
To be fair, the Tumblr site does make you have to sign up to the Tumblr site to actually view it because it's like not safe or something like that.
Because of triggers and shit?
Or that was like so like because there is some gruesome stuff in the story.
Yeah.
A lot less gruesome stuff than the actual like urban legend from the actual play. The actual play, like urban legend that the kid mentions, is far darker than what we see here.
Oh, well, you'll have to elaborate.
Yeah. I think I have a feeling since this was done afterwards, I think he might have toned down what the story was like. Maybe.
Are you going to go into that in your front
I'll
thoughts?
go into
Okay.
it. I do have it paraphrased. So.
Cool. So, as I'm reading through the story, I'm seeing all these red flags that Father of the Year is not picking up on.
Like, get out now.
Yeah, like the random formaldehyde smell from right from Jump
Also,
Street.
formaldehyde smell. You have a chemical leak. You have like a gas or chemical leak in your home. Get somebody in here or get out.
Like that's the first flag, and then the dog becoming in the drain, even though it's literally impossible
Crushed,
for the
like vacuum, like sucked into the drain, like
Yep.
out of that alien creature from Alien Resurrection who went through that little hole.
Yep.
Like That's kind of how I pictured like how the dog got sucked through there. It's just like
Pretty much. And then the smell comes back. So far, the smell showed up, and then something very bad happened.
Yeah.
So then the smell shows up again in your daughter's room. It's like, it'll be fine.
And the daughter's like, where is he? Or the daughter's like, he's in the vents. Am I going to end up like Rover? No, it's just a bad dream. It's like, do you want your child to die?
I mean, it's entirely possible. Because he does
like
not
you're
seem
crushed. Like you're crushed emotionally when you find your crushed daughter out in the vent. But like, this could have been prevented. This could have been completely prevented if you had only heeded your. And I mean, again,
there wouldn't be a story in that case.
Yeah, it is the crux of a horror story, of a creepypasta. Is like sometimes you need the character to like, basically they are cautionary tales of like don't be like this character kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like
sometimes it like
it's
kind of
so
pulls you out
tropey.
because it's like, how could you not do this?
Yeah,
What planet are you from? Kind of deal.
Sometimes there's people like that though, like
Yeah,
that
I
too.
guess.
Like that's the other thing. But yeah, no, it is such a tropey thing that like
Yeah, it's like in horror movies. Like, I got to go down to the basement. It's
Let's split up,
creepy ass
gang.
basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're splitting up. Yeah, a la Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Good bad ideas.
Good idea, bad idea. Good idea. Leaving the house when you smell formaldehyde. Bad idea. Staying in the house when your daughter says that there's a creepy man smelling formaldehyde coming from the vents. The end. Is that a Maniacs?
I'm aware.
No.
You did it.
Cool.
Last two things. One being, I don't fully see the point of the formaldehyde smell because it doesn't really go anywhere aside from just going, he's near, because that's what he smells like.
It is a signifier. It's some meta knowledge is a little bit needed for extended like look into that, but yeah. Otherwise, like from a standalone point of view for the story, it does serve as the purpose of like what the creature's near when you start smelling the formaldehyde.
Yeah, it's just to give us something that smells like the creature.
Yeah,
The creature doesn't he's not. He isn't formaldehyde. He just smells kind of like
he
that.
smells like chemicals.
Yes, indeed.
Which again, I'll go into when we actually like do when I paraphrase the origin story, urban legend. So,
and also the fact that the random things go missing don't really go anywhere. I don't really get that.
It's because he starts looking for food, and then he finds the dog, and uses that for food.
I guess
He basically starts going up the food chain.
But he's found the fridge and the gallon of milk.
But he wants more.
Well, milk isn't food. That's just a beverage.
Yeah, but if he's found the fridge,
There would
he
be
went
food in
straight
it.
for the
Yeah.
milk.
Also, he goes for plastic fruit. Then
Yeah.
again, that's just because he looks like fruit and he's a visual creature.
Well, that's the thing. Is he actually intelligent enough to go? That's fruit.
Yes, no.
So
He's a supernatural creature, so he does have some predatory intelligence.
So I'm asking you, you the writer, but you do know more about it than we do.
I've seen the creature in action, as it were, by listening to the episode.
He does think.
He is a creature, a supernatural creature, or a pseudoscience-y fringe creature. But he does, and he started off human, but he is something more.
Okay.
So he has a preternatural intelligence.
All right. And then my last note is, how and why did Camden get blamed for all this? Because aside from it being his daughter and being in his house, there's no proof that he did any of this. Not to get too real with this, but it's like if someone broke into your house, killed a member of your family, and left, and then you being blamed for it.
It doesn't help his. I will say, I was going to put that in my notes, and then I read the part where he started talking about it was a man that came through the pipes. Even though it's Elder Hollow, anywhere I feel like if you start spouting that, it's not going to help your defense.
So it's because he's spouting random nonsense, it makes him look insane?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he...
if he said someone broke in and shoved her in there, he would have been fine, probably?
Yeah, by spouting the truth, he has damned himself.
Yeah, I guess I could see that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I left that out of my notes initially, as a problem, because it makes sense in terms of, again, the boy who cried wolf.
It's essentially, he's blaming his daughter's death on something that most people would not believe.
Exactly,
Because
yes.
it is completely outlandish. So that makes him look like he's insane, and because his daughter died
Also,
criminally
he
insane.
knew he pointed out the vents to the cops, and you'd think that would spare him, like, because why would he show them where it is? But the cops might also interpret that as a confession.
That's true. Like, a second consciousness of him could be the man in the vents, and his whole...
Yeah.
Like, he just hears things in the vents, and he...
Shoved her up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. After he killed her or crushed her or whatever. Yeah.
It's possible.
No, yeah, it's a sad, like, again, it's part of the tragedy of the Camden of the Greens, is that, like, Camden was blamed for the...
Are these characters from the actual play?
No, they're just it's for the story.
That's just another
yeah,
thing.
The even the urban legend that is in the actual play doesn't actually mention who the characters were in the script that the squeeze is like from or whatever. It just says a girl and a boy and stuff like that. It doesn't actually say names. And the squeeze is just like, again, an urban legend at the time in the setting. So
Okay. So, that's the end of my notes. So, going on from there, I have a question in regards to the actions that the squeeze takes in this creepypasta.
Yeah.
Are they fair to what happens in the actual play? Like,
yeah. They're actually it's a predatory creature. It goes around. It is sinister. It hunts like for food. It looks for food. It drags things down to its lair basically in the sewers from pipes. So it's pretty accurate to what the creature does.
Also, I guess that's why the bones were still there. Like, he was pulling it down, and the only things that could squeeze small enough were meat.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, again, it.
But then again, that doesn't explain why the daughter was left intact.
In the vents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that it's a different creature. I was trying to say.
It might have been a different creature, or like, or maybe it got spooked or something like that after like killing the daughter in the. I don't know. I really don't understand. Again, just other than just like to find the daughter, like it is kind of
spin bones again.
I will say it is kind of a weird outlier that she was left in the vents.
Yeah. But maybe he was full.
Yeah.
From eating Rover, so he's like, I'll just leave this here for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. But yeah, it is a little strange.
Yeah, it is.
Especially with the loose vent nuts as well, the screws. That's also weird.
Yeah, I mean, again, the creature is again in the story. The creature is somewhat intelligent enough to like be able to like problem solve. So like again, like that
He wouldn't have to though, would he?
It might be. Actually, you know what? If they were open slightly loose, maybe he didn't need to get through there, but he wanted to make sure he get her through there because she's not getting through. Like he's kind of malleable, where she is. Well, yeah, she's gonna be crushed, but like even crushed, she's not gonna be able to fit through those slots.
Yeah, I can see that. I still think it's the second creature trying to save her, though.
I understand. I kind of like that idea too. I'm partial to that. Okay, so my final thoughts then. So I feel that this story does complement the setting of Elder Hollow well, like I've been saying kind of throughout this. It's also a very traditional creepypasta in that campfire sort of way, like story way. It's short, and it likes to take moments and emphasize them for creepy effect. I would definitely recommend a story, or as a story, to go with listening to Elder Hollow campaign. Like, it's a good complementary story for the campaign.
Which order do you think they should go in?
Oh, definitely watch Elder Hollow, or listen to Elder Hollow first, and then read this.
Okay.
Maybe even like after you've done listening to past episode 13, because that's 12 and 13 are basically when the squeeze shows up.
Okay.
As a standalone story, ignoring any meta-knowledge or context to the greater world here, it utilizes common creepypasta ideas and monster traits fairly well to me. The monster reminds me, like I said, of the Squeezing Man from the X-Files episode in Season 1, The Squeeze. It literally is called Squeeze, the episode. And even to a degree, The Rake, which Will does mention is one of the inspirations for this creature.
At least cosmetically.
Yeah, because in the story, they actually... Oh, another thing in the... basically, we get a proper description of the creature, and it's gelatinous or, like, very morphic in terms of, like, a human shape. Like, it's very, like all, like, gooey. Or, like, not gooey, but, like, very fluid-looking feeling. except for its hands and its teeth. So it kind of has like the rakish kind of like.
When you say gooey, is it like...
No, I mean gooey in that like it's like he's very malleable. So like his body, his flesh is not like it's as if he doesn't have bones, but he's still able to walk around like a person.
Okay. Because he straight up has bones in the art. So I like when I first saw that, he's essentially a zombie that's salivating. Yeah. And his legs can squeeze.
Well, his entire body can do that.
Well, I understand, but in the picture itself.
Yeah, he's organically like as a whole, like his physiology is made to be able to like basically squeeze down to fit tight locations like a pipe.
Yeah.
And again, like he acts like a very creepy boogeyman in the story. Like a traditional creepypasta boogeyman, like the Slender Man or like the Rake or Jeff the Killer or what have you, like those kind of monsters. However, this story doesn't, like we mentioned earlier, this story doesn't reveal too much about the creature's appearance in the writing, which I feel really you should do. Even though there is an image to accompany, I would have preferred to have gotten some kind of description proper in the story. Again, have the girl maybe describe him a little bit more than just a man. We get a signature smell of formaldehyde, which means a lot more if you listen to the Elder Hollow episode and its origin, which I'll paraphrase in a minute. Kind of. But we're just told that this man who squeezes through pipes and vents. So I think readers of Creepypasta will feel so. Yeah, I would like to see maybe a little bit more description of a descriptor in the writing than just an image. Because images are great, but like you also want them to complement better. Well, you don't want them to just be like a crutch for the story. You want them to complement the story.
Mm-hmm. I'll say it doesn't make it worse. It does help.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt it. It just I wish it would have maybe like elaborate a little bit more in the story.
Yeah, like worst option is not describing the creature and not having a picture.
Exactly.
Next best is not describing the creature and having a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Best is having a picture and the description because then they tie in properly.
And then I'm kind of just I think readers of Creepypasta will feel familiar to the story. Like it has a lot of the same beats that we kind of the Creepypasta readers grow up with or like know of in the stories. But that's about it. There's nothing really new here on its own. It's basically just it's basically just another like it doesn't like. Its mode of transportation, or like its means of like getting into houses and stuff like that, is different than most creepypasta monsters. But
its means of killing is different as well.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. It just feels like it's a very I can say that it is both a good thing and a bad thing that it is a very traditional style of creepypasta because it feels like something I've read before, but at the same time it doesn't. Which is why I'm kind of partial. I'm going to give it a partial recommendation as a standalone. Or a conditional recommendation as a standalone because it is a nice, simple, familiar creepypasta story, but I don't think it does anything super different that would like separate it from anything, or that would like elevate it to something spectacular. Aside from the fact that it is that it is connected to this Elder Hollow setting. If you're a fan of a listener of the Elder Hollows campaign, I'd fully recommend it. But I conditionally recommend it if you just want to like read this as a standalone, not listen to the podcast. So that's my recommendation.
So based on the issues I had with it. On its own, because I haven't listened to the actual play. I actually only give this a 33% rating. But when you factor in that there's a second creature, that gets rid of like so much of my issues with the story.
Okay. Is that your main issue? Like the swapping of transportation styles and like one, all the meat's gone, and the other one that isn't? Yeah.
Because any good detective would see that there's something fundamentally different with how the two beings die.
It's not completely different though, because they're both hiding the remains in a
tight location that nobody would actually be able to survive through.
Yeah.
But
They're
then
slightly different, but
then where did... It's just the whole getting through the ventilation system, because he's going to have a heck of a lot of trouble with the filtering system when he gets to it.
Maybe that's why he didn't bring her all the way through.
Maybe he was going to use the vents to get her, but then found that there's a fan here. I can't. Damn it. I just squeeze around your corpse here and go down the vent, or go through the pipes, escape, leaves the vent after he drags her into the vents, goes down, goes to the toilet, is like,
yeah. And didn't bring the body for reasons.
Just goes into the toilet and like mumbling to himself in anger, and disappointment, and forgets in his anger and frustration, just completely forgets about the body.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure.
Yeah. But it does feel like the MO kind of shifts a little bit with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you pointed it out. But
yeah. So that's my recommendation. Is that if you think of there's a second monster in the vents, it's so much better.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you there. It does make it better because it's more... Because 90% of creepypastas out there, it's like there's one creature that's fucking with a family, or a person, or a group of friends. So introducing a second one that may or may not be actually malevolent is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I do like the idea of it, trying to help it, not understanding how that by helping it's hurting.
It's like, I can fit in this vent, so can you. Oh god, never mind.
Oh shoot. Oh shucks. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. But overall, it wasn't a long read, so... I do have problems with it because it doesn't describe the creature in it, but it has a picture to make up for it. So, and like what you said, Cultist, you said that it doesn't really do anything different. I kind of disagree with you because I haven't read anything where the monster can squeeze through vents and shit. Yes, you said that it was from X-Files and such, but in regards to creepypastas themselves, the ones I've read, no monster has had mobility like this, and the method of killing them is different. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I'm assuming that the squeeze does not kill them by the act of squeezing them through, because they would make a lot of noise.
They would, yeah.
So I'm assuming he has some sort of way to incapacitate or kill them silently.
Turns out his hands actually don't smell of formaldehyde, but chloroform.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. There you go. But yeah, he has to have some other method, but we don't see that. So.
Yeah.
I would like if the art was drawn of something that was seen, but again, the way that the story is shown, the narrator doesn't see anything.
Yeah, that's one thing about it's. I want to see the description, but it makes sense within the perspective of the story because the story's camera is focusing on the dad, not. And it never, unless the dad is in the same room as the daughter, you're never going to see and the monster shows up at that time. You're never going to see that monster in full, in detail.
But I don't know if it would make it better or worse if, with the whole daughter situation, if he arrives in the bathroom and, his daughter is, being... he sees the creature going down the sink as, remains of his daughter or,
or you just see,
around the sink as
you
well.
You see, a leg or something. Okay, I don't know how you would, I'm still trying to wrap my head around... again, it's a supernatural entity of some kind, or some weird pseudoscience, supernatural science thing. So I'm trying to figure out how that man was stuffed down that toilet. The squeeze makes sense, going down that toilet. But how the hell do you cram? How do you he has got some otherworldly strength to be able to suction through a full-grown man down a prison toilet.
Yes, indeed. It's almost like he is inhuman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially just cracking anything that's in the way, just...
Yeah, exactly.
Going straight through. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a worrisome enough creature. When I first read the title and the name of him, he doesn't sound threatening.
But he is horrifying.
Yeah, so I kind of like the twist of thought that I had, because originally I wasn't worried, but then it's okay, yeah, that's a creepy way to squeeze. So...
Yeah.
I'll recommend it. I don't know what it's like with the context of the actual play, but on its own it works. It could be better. I'm not going to give it like 100% best ever, but I'll give it like 60-70%. Just based on the only reason it's not better is because I would like an actual description in words and a little bit better connectivity between the two deaths.
Yeah,
Because they, as Mikey said, they almost seem like they're from different creatures. And if that's the case, that's cool.
But as we kind of mentioned, maybe a follow-up story.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our recommendations of the story standalone, and for me, with context to the meta plot and whatnot. So I'm going to give you guys kind of a paraphrased, and bear in mind this was told like an urban legend by a 12-year-old in the story or in the actual play.
Okay.
Like one of the kids like rolled a lore check and like remembered this urban legend about the squeeze from like they heard from like a high schooler. And so, if you don't want spoilers about the actual origin of the creature and whatnot, go to this time.
1 hour, 21 minutes, and 38 seconds.
Thank you, future me. And you can skip the spoilery bit. So, and then we'll just go to the end of the credit. So, paraphrasing, this is from Elder Hollow, I think episode 12, or I think it's from 12 or 13, because they kind of are both, like, they're basically the same thing, they just cut it into 2 episodes. But one of the characters, again, 12-year-olds and stuff, so heard this legend about a Mormon girl who got pregnant from a boy at school, but didn't want to have the kid out of shame. So she took all kinds of pills and chemicals to dissolve flesh, and as a result, she got really sick. And she actually miscarried at high school in the high school bathroom, and she flushed the remains down the toilet.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And sometime later, and I think she was. I don't remember if it says that she died or something like that afterward. I mean, I presume she had all kinds of pills, like I guess like abortion pills or whatever, or some kind of like horrible pills or something like that, and chemicals to dissolve flesh. That's literally what they say.
Yeah, she's messed up.
So she's pretty screwed up there. Sometime later, however, like I guess a couple of years go by, the boy who got the girl pregnant was attacked in his home by a squishy pale humanoid thing who bit him before squeezing down the toilet again, and he actually died of a nasty infection from the bite wound. That's where that's basically the urban legend of the squeeze, like paraphrasing it. It's described in the show, in the episode. It's described as a pallid, amorphous human, like with black green teeth, and like sharp, like kind of like the only like solid things that like on its body, or like the only like solid firm things on its body are actually its fingernails and stuff, and its teeth. It just basically roams around. It has almost. I think the Will even describes it as a golem-like creature, like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, like just like lurking in the sewers and stuff. And snatches away like odds and ends that it finds in the like fall into the sewer, or when it goes up to the surface to grab things from people's places and stuff, and it drags them back to its lair. So that's basically the urban legend that was mentioned, the origin urban legend that was mentioned in the actual play. So what do you guys like? Like, there's any discrepancies or like the formaldehyde? So the formaldehyde chemical smell makes sense because it was created, like it was made basically it was made malleable and whatnot from the chemicals that its mother ingested.
Yeah.
Or that's what is like.
So it would smell of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that kind of odd too, because like formaldehyde is an embalming tool, so it's used to like preserve flesh.
Well, again, that's the thing. Like, it smells like it, but that could be the combined smell of all the other things. Smells like formaldehyde.
Yeah, that's true.
Or that's how they tried to save her.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So that's the most recent one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair.
It also explains why he drank the milk.
Okay. Oh, is this the mother's milk?
Well, to keep his
calcium
teeth and claws strong.
No, that's true, yeah. They're the only thing that like are still like not like malleable or jelly like the rest of his body.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming by that logic, he can't squeeze through anything that's smaller than a fingernail or a tooth.
I guess so, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, it's like octopuses. Is actually one of the players actually just like suggested that it was like an octopus because octopi can they do have I think a beak or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like basically a brain like their brain's very like they have like some hard parts of their body, but they are capable of basically fitting under like doors and stuff like that. Basically like inches. They can fit within inches of like things. Like they can fit their body through like inches of space.
Yeah.
As long as they have enough space for like I think the hard parts, basically the beak and stuff.
Yeah.
But everything else of their body, like they can like just they're very amorphous. They can just go anywhere.
So I wonder if in the situation of going through a drain, where it's a whole bunch of little holes, if each hole is big enough for a nail, would he be able to go through and like recombine? Or do you think it has to be one?
It has to be all one thing.
Yeah, because that'd be splitting his body apart and coming together.
Yeah, he's not a recombinant creature. I think it's as far as I could tell from the actual play and from the story, it's more or less he just like he can fit in he can squeeze himself into tight spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would explain why he would still need to take off the vent to go into the air vent.
Exactly.
At the grading. Well, he could fit through one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
If he's small enough, but he wouldn't go through all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't he have to flush the toilet in order to go down it?
Why?
Because it's blocked. That's what the flushing does. It opens up
A valve.
A valve.
I mean, he has enough strength that he can pull an entire full-grown man through a pipe. So I'm assuming he has the strength that he can swim down and go through all the forces and suction and such. Wouldn't you agree? Also, at this point, it's magic.
Yeah, Elder Hollow is... There's supernatural bullshit going on like throughout it, so... And it's basically a Creepypasta-esque like horror setting. Mm-hmm. So like there's a bunch of weird stuff going on.
That being said, for all we know, maybe he did flush the toilet to go down. We don't know.
Alright, so no other questions regarding the actual play or anything like that?
Nah.
Okay. Alright, so... so that was our episode of The Squeeze, a story spin-off of a actual play campaign called Elder Hollow by All Roads Tavern podcast on lithmage.com. Check them out. This is basically just a fan recommendation. And yeah, if you like what you heard, if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below. As always, you can check. You can do that on wherever this gets posted, whether it be on Kiwi6, Facebook, YouTube, or Tumblr. We're on Twitter. Mikey is at the East Ends for Evil. I'm at Review Cultist. Gamer in Yellow is on Xbox Live at The Gamer in Yellow, but without the W because Xbox hates them.
Indeed.
You can check out. You can send us a review and ratings on iTunes. Every little bit helps us grow. Lets us know how we're doing. And you can also email us at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. Where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas you'd like us to discuss on the show. If you'd like to check out the title cards for each episode, you can go to crazonstudios.tumblr.com or on our YouTube channel, Al Dente Rigor Mortis, where you can check out the videos of each episode. You can also support the show if you would like on Patreon. Go to Al Dente Rigor Mortis on Patreon and select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have extra content, behind-the-scenes stuff, early access episodes, and special episodes include...
Al Dente Reloaded at the $5 tier, where Mikey and I go back to the good, the bad, and the ugly pastas that the cultist and the doctor did in the past, and see what our thoughts are on them. And Al Dente Revelations at the $2 tier, where Mikey and I, again, continue our thoughts after listening to the old episodes the cultist and the doctor did, and possibly have a revelation while doing so.
And to all our patrons that are already supporting the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep the hosting bills at bay, and we very much appreciate that. And to all our listeners, new and old, and the authors of each creepypasta we've we discussed on the show, thank you immensely. Because without your listenership and without your stories, we wouldn't have a discussion and wouldn't have creepy tales to read at night.
And share amongst everyone.
Exactly, yeah. So thanks for all the creepiness. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the East Ends are evil.
And I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigor Mortis. Sleep well.